most wise angels to guide me always with insights, wisdom, compassion, genuine authenticity, and deeper truths. This is for our Leos. Leo, we're doing a quick energy check-in with you guys. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's start us off with some deep breaths, and I hope that you guys can hear me. I've been literally trying to go around and trying to find a place for me to do this reading, and there's so many distractions around. Okay, and I'm trying to find the most quiet. And Leo, hear me when I say, why hinder yourself? I'm following the rhythm here for our Leos. And for anyone who has Leo placement, okay, this is for you as well. Why hinder yourself? Why must you put yourself in a situation where you feel like you're stuck? There's something about you having to take action in unlocking something, okay? And follow me when I say this, Leo. You may be one right now feeling stuck, feeling like you've been holding yourself back, or you're being held back, okay, by energies around you, or you are doing this to yourself, okay? And I'm using the activation deck, okay? I'm called to use this deck for you guys. I'm getting that you may be one, and I feel like this is a very specific message for a very specific Leo, okay? That you may be one wanting to be in a place, and you're trying to be in a place where you feel more comfortable. And I feel like this is energetically, this is happening to you internally. It has nothing to do with what's happening on the outside. That could be the reason why I've been trying to find a place and trying to have to stay comfortable and finding my comfortable spot and trying to make this video. Even trying to find a quiet place. This is like an experience that you're having, that why must you hinder yourself? Why must you put yourself in a place where you can't move, or you can't speak, or your energy is kind of like held back a little bit? And I feel like this is something that you're doing to yourself. Something about the throat chakra here that you're working with, Leo. There's something that needs to be talked about. That once you let it out and once you express it, you are unlocking something. You're unlocking something. Number 3 could be very significant. There's pressure on your back. Okay, this is like the middle of your back as I'm pointing at it with my thumb right now. There's pressure there, there's a lot of tension there, okay? I'm reminded to let you know to stay hydrated, Leo. This could be due to dehydration, okay? And that's what I'm getting here. Electrolytes, I'm getting electrolytes. To stay as hydrated, and even your skin, to hydrate your skin, okay? Sometimes we feel the uncomfortability inside because we forgot we drank water. Or something like that. We forgot that we haven't been really hydrating ourselves, okay? Whether that would be in terms of you hydrating your skin, you hydrating, and drinking water, okay? There's a lot of distractions around, okay? Your energy could be a little off. You're feeling a little bit off. It's like you can't find stability or a quiet place to get your energy straight, okay? To get yourself aligned, if you will.
Oh my God, I'm a 7th grader.
You may be feeling a little bit off when it comes to what you believe in, what you're standing in terms of you standing in your truth. it can also mean that you may be standing in someone else's truth, but not yours. That you feel the need to have to stand in somebody's truth, or standing up for themselves, standing up for somebody else other than yourself. You may be one right now in somebody's energy where you feel like you have to stand up for somebody other than yourself. You have to stand up for somebody more than yourself. And right now, what's being called, okay, to you is to fight and to stand up for what you believe in, as opposed to having to please somebody else or please them and to stand up for what they believe in. I don't know if I'm making any sense, and I'm putting this in my head like a puzzle, and I hope that this is making sense for you. Like in times of uncertainty, and times where you feel like you're off with yourself, and in times of uncertainty where you feel like you just can't get your mind straight, it's like you push yourself to wanting to please others. I think there may be a little bit of a projection on your part, Leo. When you stop believing in something about yourself, and you go to somebody else, and then you start to believe what they believe. I'm following the rhythm here. And when you do that, you lose control, a sense of your control. Therefore, completely knocking yourself out of your own talents, your own integrity, your own gifts. That when you lose a sense of yourself, a little bit of your sanity, when you lose a little bit of your sanity, you then go somewhere else, you then go to somebody else, and you start to believe what they believe. And I just heard, don't do that. It's like you are purposely knocking yourself out by wanting to stand up for somebody else other than what you believe in. I'm also getting that you may be in a place where you feel like you are supporting them, and you know who them is. You're supporting them than supporting where you are with you. It is like you have completely lost control of where you are with your stability. And I'm not saying that you have completely lost your stability. I'm following the rhythm here, okay? And I'm putting this together in my head as I go and following this energy. You may not be one right now like losing your stability completely, okay? And I'm saying losing your stability in terms of like where you are energetically. And maybe where you are with exactly where you are with your beliefs. Exactly where you are with what you believe in and what you don't believe in. To not get so easily influenced by others' beliefs that when you hear them talk about their beliefs, you don't have to believe what they believe. You are just coming together with them and listening to what they're saying, but not really having to, you don't have to really take in what they're saying. To listen and then separate your beliefs from their beliefs. That when you come together, let's say for instance, in this case, when you come together with somebody, or you come together with a group, a very specific group, Leo, and you hear others' beliefs, and you start to hear other people's insights, you start to hear other people's ideas, you don't have to take in and digest everything they're saying. And I'm hearing for your own will, for your own good, because not everything that everyone says you have to believe. I'm getting that you could be in a place, okay, right now where you're experiencing yourself to be in a certain group, okay. And there are lies that are being talked about, and you are now starting to believe these lies. you were put in a group, or you are in a group and you're experiencing yourself in a group, okay? And before you even entered this group, you knew where you were with yourself and where you are with your belief system, 10-10. But then as soon as you step into a group, okay, and I'm saying group because it says dynamic, and I'm getting that this is involving other people, other energies around you. That as soon as you step into this group, you start to believe what they believe. It's like you're easily pulled in and easily influenced by others' beliefs. Okay? Step back. Step back a little bit. Because you're so easily consumed by others' beliefs. You're so easily consumed by what others believe. And then you have this tendency to please other people so that you can fit in. Yesterday I had written down on my journal. Wow, it's taking me back to what I had written down on my journal last night. I had put, sometimes I try so hard to fit in. Okay? Do I still do that? I think that may be a question to reflect on. Do I still do that? Sometimes I find myself to try to fit in. But why? Exactly. Why are you trying to fit in places and in groups that you don't actually really fit in? Ooh, I'm following the rhythm here, and I feel like this comes with a lot of discipline because, whoa, slow down. With ease, grace, and great joy. With ease, grace, and great joy. Remembering that when you lose a little bit of your sanity, Leo, you get pulled in, in different groups, different people, and how easily you are influenced by others' beliefs. Right now, I feel like what is being suggested here and what is being reminded is to step back a little bit. Remember who you were before you stepped into that group. Remember who you were before you stepped into that relationship. Remember who you were then before you stepped into this friendship. Remember who you were then before you entered into this group, this class. It's some kind of form of a group session that this may occur every week. Okay, is what I'm getting. Number 23 could be of significance, or you are 23 years old. I feel like this reading is telling me that yes, it's helpful that when you lose a little bit of your stability and you lose a little bit of your sanity, yes, it is helpful, and it could be very helpful to put yourself in a group where you feel more safe so that you don't feel so alone. Yes, right? But it's also good to remember that while you are coming together with other people and in this group, to know where you are with your stability and where you are with yourself, and to not forget that. And I'm getting like this is you just being free. 1414. It's you just being free with your spirit. It's you just being lively in the moment, right? Being lively and free-spirited in the moment. But then as soon as you lose your sanity and your stability, you then start to believe other people. You start to believe other people more than yourself. And I think that's what it is, that part right there where you start to believe other people more than yourself. you knock yourself out of your own belief system, therefore not really putting yourself in a place of support. Does that make sense? You're not so much as supporting of yourself, because you now have given your power and pleasing other people, because you need that happiness back, you need that joy back. And in pleasing others and in believing what others believe, it gives you a sense of like belonging, a feeling of belonging. I'm following the rhythm here when I speak of this, okay? The reminder here is that you are enough on your own. That whether when you are feeling sadness, when you are feeling the emotion of depression, when you are feeling the emotion of sadness, anger, frustration, whatever that emotion may be, know that you are enough on your own. You don't, in fact, need others' validation to confirm, to validate what you're feeling. That when you are feeling frustration, you're feeling frustration, and you are to be aware that you are feeling frustration. But you don't need to go to somebody and have them validate that. Does that make sense? I hope I'm making sense here. I'm putting this together like a puzzle. That when you are feeling a little bit off, you don't in fact need to go to anybody to have them validate that you are feeling off, that you are feeling this way. To just know it by yourself, to know it on your own, and to know this is enough. Because Leo, what I'm getting here is that it is helpful and it is good to come together with a group when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling unhappy, when you're feeling unsatisfied with yourself. But the reminder here is that you're still able to do that on your own without a group. That when you come right back to yourself without anybody around you, you are to know that you are enough and standing in that emotion. I'm feeling sad. Feel the sadness. Okay, I'm getting this image of like, when somebody is sad, when you're feeling sad, you instantly go to somebody to try to debunk that feeling, to try to forget that feeling, as opposed to you being aware and going, wow, I'm sad. Let me sit with this. I don't necessarily have to go to anybody when I feel it so. I can just sit and go, I'm sad, but why? I'm getting practice on that action, okay? That when you are sad, tell yourself, I am sad, but why? As opposed to, I'm sad. And then you go to somebody else and you have them validate why you are sad. It is coming back and supporting your belief system, coming back and supporting yourself in your sadness, in your happiness, coming back to yourself, and giving yourself that pat on the back, pat yourself on the back, and give yourself appreciation. Give yourself some appreciation that when you're feeling a strong emotion, you are enough in supporting yourself in it. That you don't necessarily have to go around and tell people that you are. I feel like this is more of a discipline. I feel like this is more of a discipline and a practice. The frequency of belief supports our sense of self-worth. Self-worth, I am enough, based on our gifts and talents and a strong connection to source. You are, in fact, I just heard, give yourself a break. Give yourself a break. Like a real break. That when a strong emotion arises, you are more than enough in handling it on your own. And the discipline, when the discipline steps in, this is going to give you the balance that you need and coming into union with the me, myself, and I. Does that make sense? Ooh. That this reading is in fact a reminder that you are more than enough in supporting yourself in the strong emotion that you are feeling. Think of your self-worth. There's a lot of support. I feel like the discipline here is to come back in supporting yourself, without instantly having to go to anybody and ask for their validation. It is your own support in yourself. I support myself. I am enough. I'm worthy, and supporting myself. The frequency of perception supports our natural curiosity, moving us beyond our comfort zone. So this could be you falling back to certain people and having to rely on their answers, falling back to people and having to rely on their opinions, having to rely on what they think you should do with this emotion, with this feeling. 21. It is your own support that when an emotion arises, or whatever dilemma or problem that you may be having at this time, to know that you have the option to go in and ask yourself why, as opposed to going to people and now you're frantic, now you've lost your sanity and you're projecting. It's like that moment of little projections. What do I do? That when you lose your stability, your sense of self-worth, you have this need to have to go to people and ask for their opinion instead of you relying in support of your own opinions, moving us beyond our comfort zone to find the edges of what we perceive as real and to take a good, hard, deep look at it. I have this booklet, this guidebook, that I want to read to you about perception here before we end this. And I hope you guys are taking care at this time. There's a lot of intense, heavy movements and intense, heavy releases. And this could be a big part of why you're having mixed emotions, why you may be feeling a lot of these heavy emotions, because we're going through this slow transition of heavy releases. Okay. Perception can be described as the interpretation of that which has entered into our awareness. Upon first glance, the perception activation presents what seems to be chaos and motion. But when we take a better look, we find perfect alignment, and this is very significant. Okay, alignment right now is very, very significant, and synchronicity between the different aspects. I also just got that you may be experiencing yourself having tower moments. And these tower moments is to align you back to discipline, collective, okay? We find balance and harmony. The sharp blades of clear perception cut through the layers of illusion that cover the space between the world of spirit and the world of matter. Together, the blades are neither round nor square, indicating that they are effective in both worlds. Conceptually, circles stand for everything and nothing at all. Balance, infinity, purity, and freedom. Within this image, they also represent our connection to our larger universe and the many planets that revolve around the realities that exist beyond our own. We think we have a clear perception of the reality that lies behind the blades, but we discover that the waters of our emotional and physical world are mirrored perfectly by the sky, our spiritual nature. They are exactly the same, as above, so below. I don't want to read the whole thing, just to highlight the ones that are important to remember. the square border represents the form-based reality of our earthbound life. Okay, it's like you having to find your stability in the physical realm. That right now, what you may be focusing more in is the spirituality, the spiritual aspect, right? Align the spiritual aspect of yourself to the physical reality, to the physical energy of things. Then you will find awareness, consciousness, and where you stand with your beliefs. I hope I'm making sense when I put this together, okay? This may be a time for you, Leo. That discipline does work. Like, I'm speaking to a hyper independent here, okay? I'm speaking to somebody here who's hyper independent, who has had to support yourself through it all, okay? You are somebody who is also very hypersensitive to energies, very hyper independent. That sometimes you lose your control when you have to do everything on your own. And so I feel like what is being reminded here is that when you center yourself in discipline, there's more stability, there's more harmony, there's more balance. That you having to be this hyper independent, yes, you are doing it all. Finding stability in the physical, finding stability in your emotions, finding stability in your mental. So that when you know you're doing all of this on your own, that when you lose your sanity for a moment, center yourself in discipline. Discipline is a choice, and it is also a choice to be had. That when one loses one's sanity, you are reminded to come back to center, at the center of discipline, because that is what is going to give you stability, balance, and harmony. I love you.